Have you ever watched a smart, hard-working person fail? Not because they lacked effort, not because they didn't try hard enough, but because the system around them was broken. A good teacher in a failing school, a dedicated nurse in a crumbling clinic, a motivated entrepreneur buried in red tape. It's easy to blame people, but what if the real problem is the system itself? That the system itself is designed to produce failure. I was watching the news the other day, and this gentleman who started a butchery, he had stocked up on a lot of meat that he was going to serve over the weekend during the derby. The derby was going to play, he was going to broadcast or stream the derby in his location, and now he's got all of this meat that he's ordered, and load shedding happened. Now, it's a bit of a dilemma. What does he do with this meat? The derby is in a few days, he needs to keep it chilled, now there's load shedding. If that guy fails, it won't be because he didn't see a need and as a business he's not solving a problem. It would be because the system and the infrastructure failed him. I'm sure you know of many examples of people who are solving genuine problems, who have great business ideas, but fail during execution, not because the idea is not great, but because the infrastructure and the support systems around them failed them. So if he was to fail, it would be because of unreliable electricity, obstacles that were placed in his way that he needs to overcome. So it wouldn't be a failure of thinking or a failure of character. It would be a failure of infrastructure. You know, we've built societies that still think that outcomes are purely based on effort. But in reality, systems shape results far more than individuals do. When we see dysfunction, we default to blaming individuals. People don't want to work. People are lazy. No one cares about quality. Blah, blah, blah. But that's not always true. It's not always people. It's often the architecture, the structure of the processes, and the rules of the game. You can't put a good driver in a broken vehicle and expect a championship win, guys. In one global study, over 70% of workplace underperformance was linked to systems, not personal shortcomings. In education, teachers in high bureaucracy environments lose up to 40% of their time to admin and non-teaching tasks. Entrepreneurs in many African countries face 2 to 4 times more regulatory friction compared to OECD economies. In healthcare, system design flaws, meaning systems, not medical errors, account for over 60% of operational inefficiencies in under-resourced hospitals. We need to stop diagnosing individuals when it's the ecosystem that's diseased. Think of it like a computer virus. If the code is corrupted, it doesn't matter how good the software developer is, the machine will still crash. And it goes deeper into psychology. When people operate in broken systems for too long, they begin to internalize failure. It's called learned helplessness. When people stop trying, not because they don't care, but because they've learned that effort doesn't change anything. Eventually, dysfunction becomes normalized. Blame becomes culture. And apathy becomes systemic. This is why good leadership is not just about motivating people. It's about redesigning the environment so that the best behaviors actually lead to better outcomes. Infrastructure, accountability loops. That's where real transformation begins. We need to build systems that reward initiative, systems that reduce friction and multiply effort, not systems that trap good people in a maze of inefficiency and punishment. I'm sure in your life or in your community, you've seen good people struggle in bad systems. Drop it in the comment. Because until we start naming the real constraints, we'll probably keep misdiagnosing the real problems. Share this with someone who keeps asking, why do people keep failing? And help them see that it's not always the person. Sometimes it's a system.